Garlicky, crisp, juicy, utterly addictive. This pollo al ajillo, which is the classic Spanish garlic chicken, is the ultimate comfort tapas food. And it is perfect for what we're going to do today. Because today we are cooking our way through Spain because it's round 7 of the Formula One. And they are arriving at the classic circuit of Barcelona-Catalunya. And whether you are cheering for Kimi Antonelli to dominate the field again, which he absolutely has, or waiting for Lewis Hamilton to secure that big win for Ferrari, he's that close. This race day dish is all you need. It can be eaten hot, it can be eaten cold, and it's in your hands as soon as the lights go out. So welcome back to Eat, Drink, and Explore with Cece. This is Cece. Let's get cooking. Now, because Barcelona is the track that drivers know really, really well, like the back of their hand, it's got an abrasive track surface, and it destroys tires at high-speed sweeping corners like turn 3, and it demands absolute technical precision. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do that perfect F1 aerodynamic setup. And today we're doing this classic Spanish cooking dish, and it relies basically on having core elements that are absolutely flawless. Pollo al Ajillo is found in tapas bars all over Spain. So this dish is traditional in any part of the country, from north to south, east to west. It is the most popular dish, and it is so yummy. It uses simple ingredients like you see on the board here, but the technique is everything, right? And the biggest trap that people fall into when making this dish is burning the garlic. And I'm going to show you exactly how to avoid that so that the sauce is sweet and savory and rich. So let's look at what we have on the board. So the trick is, so let me just move stuff around here so I can bring it into the shot. So the trick here is that you want to use bone-in chicken. Some people will use chicken breast to do this dish. Don't spend your time. Don't waste your time making it. What you want is bone in with your chicken, and you want the skin as well, because that's where you're going to be extracting the flavor, right? So again, you can chop these into smaller pieces if you want, but I'm just keeping them this size because meat tends to shrink anyway when you cook. So I am cooking for adults. We can all eat this by ourselves. We don't need any help. Now, the bone gives the sauce this incredible depth, and that skin is going to get beautifully crispy, and it's going to be a visual cue for people when eating it, because you want that nice golden toasty. Because remember, we eat with our eyes first, right? Now, the next step is the star of the show. Oh, wait, before that, how much chicken do you need? Well, again, how many people are you feeding, right? It's going to depend. I happen to have some drumsticks and 4 thighs and 5 drumsticks. Okay, so that should give you a general idea. And this will serve like 2 pieces each, so you can get 3 people, 4 people here as a meal. Now, what I did do is I always do this ahead of time. Some people don't, but this is my little trick, is I wash it really well, I pat dry it, and then I put sea salt, and I use white pepper because I don't want that spicy black pepper. Just white pepper and dry thyme at the bottom, and then I just do the same thing on the top. And it's been marinating at room temperature for about 30 minutes now. Got home from work. It's the first thing I did, got it ready, and then prepared all the other elements. So the next thing that we're going to need is you're going to need the star of the show, and that is a garlic. The more garlic, the better. You definitely are going to use an entire clove head of garlic. Okay, so be prepared for that. So what you're going to need is you're going to need about 12 to 15 cloves. And I've got some like 3 big ones here that have not been peeled. That's the key. Don't peel these, okay? So 3, I don't know, maybe I'll put some more here, but that's what we're going to do in a moment. And then I basically cut the rest of them. I peel them and I cut them in slivers like this. The idea is this is a garlic dish, so you want to see the garlic. You want to see that, right? So I did about 8 garlic cloves in here. So we're good to go. We need a couple of bay leaves, some fresh thyme. You can also use dry thyme if you don't have that handy, not a problem. And I actually like to use a combination of dry thyme, so some dry thyme and some fresh thyme as well. You could throw in a sprig of rosemary, but I prefer just to do the thyme. So very Mediterranean flavors. And you are going to need olive oil. Of course, we're going to start with about a quarter cup of olive oil. Use the best extra virgin olive oil that you can. And we're going to need about 6 ounces to 8 ounces of a white wine. Now, the white wine you want to use, ideally, if you picked up a Spanish one, that's great, like an Albarino or a Verdejo. I'll put those bottles up so that you can see the names in the bottles. Or you could use a crisp dry wine, so like a Sauvignon Blanc, for example. And that's what you're looking for. We're looking for high acidic in the wine because we are frying up the chicken with the skins and that and the olive oil. So that helps cut down on the greasiness of the dish. So that's super important. And you also need a tablespoon of sherry vinegar. Now, I know a lot of people have a hard time finding sherry vinegar, and I'm out. I don't have any at home because I'm still having trouble trying to find it. So what you can do is you can substitute 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and you want to use a pinch. So let's grab a pinch of brown sugar. Don't use white sugar, okay? You just want to use a pinch of brown sugar and just stir that in. And what that will do is it will bring the sweetness to the vinegar that the sherry vinegar does bring. Okay? All right, so this is super easy to get started. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention. When I was cleaning my chicken and marinating it, what I did do is, you'll notice here, I literally took my chef's knife and I cut an incision on one side and on the other side. I did that for all of them, even the breast, because I want the flavors to absorb into the chicken. And I want that all to be garlic, that yummy garlicky flavor to it. So that's one way of doing that. All right, so let me go show you the magic of how not to burn your garlic. Okay, here's the magic of not burning your garlic. Is you want to put your olive oil into the pan, quarter cup or so, depending on how much chicken you have, of course. But you want to put the garlic into a cold pot, into the olive oil. And all I'm doing right now on the garlic is I'm pressing down, just smashing it slightly so that it can impart some flavor. Now, why am I doing this? This way, by keeping the skins on the garlic, what you're doing is you're preventing it from burning. But what you're also doing is allowing it to release its lovely garlic flavor. And by doing this in a cold pot, what happens is that you're bringing the garlic up to temperature with the oil. And that's one way of preventing it not burning. So that is an awesome idea. And so the idea is you want to keep your eye open on this pot. As soon as the skins start getting golden, we are going to take it out and put it aside because we're going to reuse that garlic later. Okay. So let's bring this up to temperature. Just make sure you go in and just turn them over. Just lightly golden. Okay, so as soon as you start to see a little bit brown, you can start taking them out. Well, that's a bigger one, so therefore it doesn't burn as fast as the other ones. So I've got my stove down to a 6. All right, so we're good. We're going to take this out and set this aside. Then just be super careful. This is super hot. So bring the stove down to about a medium, and it is going to sprinkle a little bit. So skin side down.
And the other thing is you don't want to overcrowd the pot. So we'll do the legs first, and then we'll do the leg, and then we'll do the thighs. Okay, so these are ready. We'll just take them out. All right, so I'm gonna boil potatoes in some chicken stock.
So while we're waiting for the potatoes to finish cooking, so what we're going to do is I put all the chicken back and I added whatever leftover juices there was in the pan for the legs, added that in. And then I took a little bit of the wine that I had left over in the marinade of the salt and the pepper and the thyme, not to waste it. And we're going to pour that in. And then we're going to add in our bay leaf. We're going to add in our garlic. Just mince it in here. It's going to be garlicky. That's what this is all about. And I didn't cook the garlic. I'm putting it raw in here because we're going to go in the oven. And we want it to cook or roast in the oven. And we don't want to over roast it. Then we're going to add in bay leaf, add in some fresh thyme. And I did promise you what we were going to do with that garlic that we used to infuse the olive oil. So we're actually going to put it in now. So you're literally just going to take it out of the skin. And you're just going to mash it with your hands. I love this dish. It's so tactile. This is such a simple dish. It's a very peasant dish, right? Now, typically this dish was done with rabbit, but it's progressed into chicken because rabbit was easily found in the country, olden days. But now moving to the city, people have more accessibility to chicken. Some beautiful flavors in here. And I don't really have to salt this any further. Let me just wash my hands. Okay, and so we're going to pour in the 1 tablespoon of sherry vinegar or the apple cider vinegar with a pinch of brown sugar. And we're going to pour in the wine. Traditionally, some people in Spain will add a dusting of flour to their chicken and to create a thicker sauce. But I'm going super traditional, which is what they had in the fields. They would have thyme growing wild, bay leaves growing wild, garlic, and they would just catch their rabbit and make this. And I guess the olive oil they carried with them, who knows? It's like the Italians, the travelers always carried spaghetti with them, dry spaghetti. And they could whip up a simple dish really quickly. Okay, so we'll let that infuse. We're waiting for the potatoes to get tender, and then we're going to add it to the pot. And then in the oven, you want to set the oven to 385, 400, and we just want to get this nice and roasted. So we're going to leave it in there for about 10 minutes for all the flavors to infuse and the garlic to roast up. Look at that. Doesn't that look so good? Wow. See why I put it in the oven? Just to get everything nice and toasty. Because remember, we eat with our eyes, right? Remember, this is super hot out of the oven. So always make sure anything coming out of the oven, you put a dish towel over the handle to remind you that it's hot. How many times have I done that? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to finish off this simple dish. And the way we finish it off is you will finish it off with some fresh chopped parsley, some Italian parsley, and a squeeze of lemon. So let's just go ahead and be generous with it because this adds flavor as well to the dish. Again, I like a lot of parsley. You can decide how much you want, and then you want to put at least a squeeze of half a lemon. Now, why am I doing half a lemon? Is the juices will just brighten everything up. I love those flavor combinations. So you got nice crispy skins on the top, some beautiful chicken on the sides, and that is ready for dinner. You don't even have to put this in a dish. You can literally just take this to the table and people serve themselves. Oh, the smell. So as I said, you want to give it just a quick little final toss just to embed things in here. You know, take out some of the parsley stems. Sorry, the thyme stems if you can find them, but I'm not too worried about it. It's family style. It is so yummy. So let's give this a whirl. Just a great alternative of chicken, not to get boring old chicken. Now, I do recommend, as I said at the beginning, use chicken thighs, use chicken legs. Try not to use chicken breasts just because you want all that flavor coming into the dish. You definitely need that. And you need some skin for nice crispy bits as well. So you can see the skin stayed nice and crispy. The meat is incredibly juicy. The sauce is very garlicky. It has zero bitterness. And it is just pure sweetness. And it's balanced with that crisp acidity because we use the crisp wine, like a Sauvignon Blanc, an Albarino, or Verdejo. And it is I think it's an absolute podium winner. So let me give this a whirl. So let's try a potato. Let's see if they've absorbed all of that beautiful garlicky flavor. Hot. Oh, yes. Oh, that is nice and garlicky. Grab a piece of chicken. I'm just going to grab something off the leg here. Super tender, super moist. Ooh, still steaming. Try not to burn my roof of my mouth. Yes, 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 yes. That's the flavor I remember. It is so awesome. And it's sweet, and it's not this like pungent garlic taste that you get. Absolutely not. You get this gorgeous savory sweetness through the dish. And the apple cider vinegar with a pinch of salt, a pinch of brown sugar, just perfectly balances with the crisp white acidic wine. Oh, cannot go wrong. Wow. I think everyone's going to enjoy that one. I couldn't wait. I devoured that leg. It was so yummy. So this is a great dish to have when you're watching the race this weekend. And let's see what happens. Is it going to be as exciting again like it was in Monaco, where, I mean, wow, we had a do not start basically for Max Verstappen, and we had so many people that basically DNF'd. But I can't believe it. It was 5 in a row. Kimi Antonelli got pole position and he won the race. And Lewis did amazing as well. So he got on the podium. I am so happy for him as well. So let's see what happens in Barcelona. Let's see who gets on that podium. Let's see if Kimi can make it 6 in a row. Or let's see if Lewis can actually get on the podium and get pole position this time. Thank you so much for joining me. Always greatly appreciated. I love doing these cooking along the F1 circuit videos on the playlist for you guys. So this is the perfect fuel for this thrilling race coming up in Barcelona. I'm so excited. If you enjoyed this recipe, hit that button. It tells the algorithm we're doing the right job. We are making incredible progress towards our goal of 1,000 subscribers on this channel. So if you have not yet hit subscribe, click that button right now and join the global community. We are trying so hard to hit that 1,000 goal that we set for ourselves. So let me know in the comments below who you think is going to be taking the checkered flag in Spain this weekend. Until next time, keep exploring, keep tasting, and enjoy this perfect race. Hasta la próxima. Ciao for now. Don't forget to hit subscribe.